Hi everybody, thank you so much for coming back to my channel. My name is Amber and I've been sharing my story of how I found out I was pregnant unexpectedly at 45 years old and my journey in having a child. So my last video I had shared genetic testing and going through that process because we really wanted to ensure that we had a healthy baby. And we did go through that process. We did have some little hiccups throughout the pregnancy. And he was growing at a slower rate because of uterine growth restriction. That was a little bit overwhelming, but not totally uncommon, and something that we were able to definitely get through. Our prenatal specialist visits that we were required to go to increased about 28 weeks from going once a week to going twice a week. And then we also found out we were having a boy, we were having a son, which again was exciting either way, but I kind of had a feeling it was going to be a boy, and it was really exciting to hear that. I wanted to just talk about getting to the point of birthing and my birth date when I gave birth to our son. So things transpired a little bit differently in the last few weeks. I had one of my last scheduled OBGYN visits in late October. And at that visit, they tested my blood pressure, and unfortunately it tested high. I had not been feeling anything really what I felt like abnormal or feeling anything that would be concerning, but at that time it tested high. They asked me to stay and they needed to test me again in about 15 minutes. So just to sit back and relax, which I tried to do, and I felt like I was pretty relaxed. But I tested high again in the blood pressure. So at that point, they were like, you have to go to the emergency room. You have to go to the women's emergency room, and they need to evaluate you there. So this was around the lunch hour. I hadn't had food, so I was concerned about the food, and I was like, can I eat, at least stop and get something through a drive-through? And they're like, of course, but you need to get to the hospital. And I called my partner. At that point, I was like, am I having the baby? I don't know. They just told me to go there. It didn't seem like they were going to make me have the baby at that point, but I went ahead and just told him not to come to the hospital yet. Let me just find out what they're going to tell me there at the hospital. Well, at the hospital, I didn't, I tested high one time, but then the next time I didn't, and they couldn't get, the blood pressure wasn't high again. So I thought, okay, we're good. I don't need to worry about anything here. Well, then the doctor that was seeing me at that point said, no, we are going to schedule you for an induction. This is indicating that you have some preeclampsia. And I said, but I only test it. I've gone almost every week and I've never tested high blood pressure. Can't this just be an anomaly? She was not about it. So whatever, we scheduled an induction the next week. And of course I was concerned about my baby, so I have to take the advice of the experts, but I wasn't totally happy about it. So they scheduled us 3 weeks in early of when the due date of our son's due date, which was 11/28. So we got scheduled 3 weeks early and to go in and get induced. And I got checked in on a Sunday, and I gave birth to my son on a Wednesday, and I labored a lot, of course, through that time, but in, I would say, the last 25 minutes, well, we came to a point where they told me that I had to do a C-section because the baby started losing oxygen. He was not getting enough oxygen. So they said we can try to wait a little longer. We could see what happens. We could try this other thing. I said, if he's losing oxygen and it's been like a half an hour or so, they're telling me, then I think let's do a C-section. Like, it's just time. And so within me saying that, within 10 minutes, I was back into the operating room with my partner, and we had the baby. And the baby came, and he was healthy and beautiful. And my partner got to hold him first and cut the cord. And it was a wonderful, exciting moment, very overwhelming though. And there was some things that happened after with the preeclampsia, and I don't know if it's called post-eclampsia, but that caused me to have to return to the hospital after a time. So that was quite overwhelming as well. But thank you for listening to my story. I hope to continue making these videos. I have a lot to catch up on, and I really want to continue to support women that are considering having a child later in life, or are in the process of already doing that. And if you ever want to hear about a specific experience or anything, I'm happy to share that. Just, you're welcome to DM me. So thank you. I hope everybody